Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
National At-Home Dad Network February membership drive is here. Help us reach our goal of 200 members by the end of 2024. It only takes 95 paid members at our base price of $35 annually. However, if you like receiving swag in the mail to show off while out with your kid, we have 3 exclusive bundles only good this month. Tier 1 includes Dads Don't Babysit keychain with your membership of $50. Tier 2 includes a limited edition t-shirt with the eye-catching phrase, "I'm not a babysitter, I'm a parent." And for the third tier, if you're looking to go to St. Louis in October for Home Dad Con, consider for $265 receiving your membership and a ticket to Home Dad Con. And our final offer, for $500, become a lifetime member and receive a Dads Don't Babysit challenge coin and a certificate to show your lifetime membership to the National At-Home Dad Network. Thank you for considering to become a member and continuing to support the work we do for at-home dads. For more information, go to athomedad.org and click on the button that says Become a Member.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I should probably change over my background real quick. Give me a second.
Why?
So that we match.
Corey's office is beautiful.
All right, there we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. As was spoken in the message beforehand, we're getting to the end of February, which means the end of the membership drive is upon us here. We've only got a few days left. You get an extra day because of the leap year. So, that's also another.
Use it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bonus, man. You get that bonus share. And happy
This is
birthday to
what we
anybody that's
do.
celebrating their birthday, like
Right.
every 4 years.
This is what we do for our members, right? We really want you to join, so we're giving you an extra day. How about that?
Exactly. We picked the right year to do it.
Just pure compassion for those who need that extra day. You're welcome.
Procrastination sometimes comes with a positive. What can you say?
But we
Don't
do
tell
hope
your kids
everybody gets the opportunity to become a member this month. It's very important to us. We're moving the numbers up slowly, and that is what it is. We do work with a lot of households on single income, of course, so it can be difficult. But we do hope we reach that 200 goal.
But I
as
also
soon as
love the
possible.
fact that we have guys who are not even like a category of like still active stay-at-home dad, but they have been a stay-at-home dad in the past and are just an advocate for the network. And they have even, decided to pay membership because they see the value in the organization. Because I saw, and I'm not going to name them because I don't know how, if there's like any kind of like thing for that or whatever, but it was funny. This person, he's spoken before at the convention, and he's been around for quite some time, and he paid his membership. I saw him post about it. He's like, and now I'm waiting on my porch for it because he paid for the $50 to get his keychain. And I love it.
Right here. Where is it?
Like 30-40 minutes, right? Like that drone's gonna be here.
Yeah.
And I love
coming
it.
in, drop it.
Matt Strain's like, you're gonna need to give me a week.
If we love you, we'll have the drone drop it on a parachute.
Yeah.
If we don't, better catch it. Get your glove out.
But I thought that was pretty funny, honestly. I was like,
Yeah,
that very creative. I really appreciate it. And this man has a very creative mind, so I expect nothing less, honestly.
Right.
But still, like for somebody who, his kids are adults, and to see the, just the value in being a part of the organization like that, I was that was awesome to me, because I feel like that's just one more thing to just sort of like put out there to people, be like, hey, like, it's not just the active guys, it's not just the guys who are in the trenches currently. Like, it is also for guys who have been through the trenches, come out on the other side,
Mhm.
and can be a resource to the rest of us that are still doing it. And then it continues that connection. It's like we always
Right.
say, once a stay-at-home dad, always a stay-at-home dad, which is like
Mhm.
kind of the ode and creed of the Marines. And I feel like that's a lot of what we do anyway. So I kind of feel like a Marine sometime in that fashion.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah. And we've built the community, whether it's, you
yeah.
can call it, like, if we're talking about the Marines, I think their most common word would be the brotherhood, and we do look at this in a lot of ways, that we use that word a lot, but also
Yeah.
more important, I think, for us is the fact that we built a community. We
Yeah.
built a place where we can go, we can talk about the stuff that's bothering us. We can talk about the stuff that is amazing. We can say, oh, my kid did this, and no one's going to yuck our yum, as it was. Like, oh yeah, of course your kid did that, blah 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 blah. Or did you think blah blah blah? No, it's like, yeah, awesome, man, that's great. I love it that your kid, whatever it was, and they celebrate with you, which is such a good feeling. So that the entirety of that community and how far reaching it is, again, community is my favorite part about our organization, hands down.
Definitely. So yeah, so get if you haven't had a chance to sign up, get your membership, go ahead and get that done. I saw where just recently there was a post too about Home Dad Con and being able to pay the 265, which gets you a ticket and also
Mm-hmm.
your membership as well. So kind of knock it all out at once.
Yep,
And
yep.
that's the other thing I've been kind of looking at right now is scholarship applications are coming in. And
Mm-hmm.
so if that's something that would help you, don't feel guilty about signing up for it. We want to help as many dads as possible get to the convention this year.
Right.
And if you know a dad who is walking that line where they keep saying like, oh, that would be really cool, but this, just nominate them, put them in
Yep.
there,
Nominate them.
because that's the other way to just kind of push them over the other side
Mm-hmm.
of the fence and allow
Yeah.
it to take place that way. So
And a lot of times it's not like that they need everything. It's just,
no.
okay, I can get the time off, but I can't afford the airfare. I just can't. Okay. Talk to us, see what we can do. I'm not saying we're paying everybody's airfare. I'm not saying we're paying anybody's anything, but the organization has set that up, and the beer share has funded it like a boss,
Yeah.
and it's there for us. And it's a resource. It's not a pity party. It's not a
No.
charity. It's not like, oh, you need some. No, not at all. Oh yeah, cool. Let's take a look at it. Let's look at it, logically. These are the numbers. So here's where we're at. We can help these 5 people do these 5 things, whether it's hotel, airfare, ticket, whatever it is. So
Yep.
just take a look at it. If you need it, or if you know someone that can use it, put their name in. It's not a guarantee, but it is an option that they may not be aware of or not be willing to take advantage of. So
Definitely.
push them a little. We like
Yeah.
to have more people.
Hey, talking real quick too about our last episode, which
Mhm.
was super exciting to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard anything from Marcella, but I have seen where like I posted the audio clip on TikTok, and it's now like the third most watched TikTok post that we've put up on our short-lived little TikTok account. So
Mhm.
that's been pretty exciting to watch those numbers go up. I've seen where we've actually had different moms from TikTok that have liked and commented on the post. One lady, I think her tag is Mom's Life. She posted just a thank you for the episode, and I was just like, oh man, so that was really cool. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, it's definitely hitting a lot of people
Mhm.
and really making an impression. So it'll be interesting to see how it works. I saw where too, like there was I think it was like 3,000 impressions or something like that we've had in the past like 30 days on the podcast itself. And things are really just shooting up just episode wise. So there's definitely a lot of visibility being seen.
Mhm.
And so It's just exciting. So I'm curious, it'll be interesting to see kind of how things work out. And I definitely have tagged Marcella Hill in a couple of the different posts. And so, just try to keep pushing it out there. But
And
yeah,
I did hear back from her.
you did.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it was almost immediate. I mean, that
okay.
day, yeah, I think it was that afternoon or whatever. And which for me was huge. I'm like, oh, wow, cool. They responded like within a day, which is what you want to do professionally. But
Yep. It's what I do when I'm with my work.
she's pretty big, right? I mean, she's pretty big.
Yeah.
And yeah. And she said, and I'm just going to quote this part of it. Hello, wow, I can't love this more. I'm so excited to know your organization exists.
Oh,
And then
awesome.
right, and then she goes into how destructive perimenopause is to families,
Yeah.
how hormonal changes and things like that need to be discussed openly, honestly, and say, yeah, is this a thing, is this not a thing, the realization of what's happening to you. And then also the fact that many men suffer from hormonal changes,
Yeah.
and they're different, of course, but we have these same things, and that it is something that we need to be aware of too.
Definitely.
Not just in how we can help our partners to navigate through this, but that health in general is something we need to talk about more. And we've discussed that on, the subject of Movember, and we've been on the podcast multiple times talking about how important our health is. I
Yeah,
mean, your
definitely.
shoulder and my colonoscopy were like our big subject for an entire episode almost. So, she's really got an amazing outlook on it, and I am hoping we can work something out.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to start. I'm going to talk with the board and talk about just promoting more of her content in our social medias and what have you, and just getting the education out there. Not sure if we can get her as a speaker. I'm going to work towards that, but it won't surprise anybody to know that it's valuable work she's doing. So there's a number on it.
There's
And
always a price that comes with that.
right.
Definitely. Yeah, for
So
sure.
we'll see. But she's amazing. I loved her email. I was like, oh my God, I love you. This is great. You're so much nice. You're so nice. And I love it.
Definitely. That's awesome. Yeah. And also too, like, so once that episode was put out there, I saw we were like immediately, like there were some people that started sending us some messages and things. And I got to say, I got to slightly apologize. Anybody whose like wife walked in on them, like while they were listening to it or whatever, like, they asked a question and you answered or whatever. My wife wanted wanted the guys to know that if your wife asks that and then she gets angry about that, like that's something that they've got to process, because you answered their question, and that obviously that probably struck a nerve with them, but at the same time, like that's something that they have to process through, and you did nothing wrong to answer their question honestly. So Corey wanted me to make sure that got passed on, because I was reading her some of the messages there, and that one specifically stuck out. She was just like, well, that's not fair to him, like he did exactly what she asked. And I'm like, I agree, I completely agree with that. So yeah. But so like I said, we hope that episode definitely helped people out, and we're going to continue to pursue and see what takes place out of it. I think just the fact that we got a response from her herself, and just that, maybe that'll be it's a good stepping stone. So I'm excited, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's definitely something I think that we're going to be talking about more. Throughout the life of the podcast, the years of the podcast. So, but speaking of,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just think it's important that, sorry, I just think it's important that, we all realize that it's not just talking about dad issues, the entire like things that fathers are going through just as fathers, but also like what is going on in families, and that extenuates outside of like just our sphere of things. And I think a lot of times, like podcasts and stuff, like they kind of they'll stay in that like niche of like, all right, we're just talking about fatherhood and everything. It's like, no, like there are other things that actually come into contact with fatherhood that need to be talked about as well, because you can only talk so much about how much the kids are driving you up the wall without talking about like what's going on in your own relationships, that kind of deal.
And a part of providing for your family is taking care of them. I mean, what we do is providing for our family. We're providing so much so that, you know, one, that our kids can prosper and grow and turn into strong, loving adults, but also so that our partner can prosper and grow, you
Right.
know, to support them in whatever career that they're in, to give them the ability that they know that they can trust us with the house and the family and the car and the yard work and every other thing that we do, but also so that we can learn how to support them in ways like perimenopause is something I'd literally never heard of.
Right.
You know, Marnie had, and we talked about this previously. She's got it. She knows, you know, she's a very educated person, but realistically, if I don't know about it, how can I help? You know, what can I do?
Right. Yeah.
How can I, if she did get it and she started acting, you know, like she had anxiety like I do, I'd be like, look, no, this is my thing. You can't do this. And no, but it would be very difficult for me to deal with my own stuff and then have to deal with her without knowing what's going on. You know, the
Correct.
importance of what we'll call a diagnosis, you know, to understand, no, this is not, you're crazy. That's not what it is. My wife's a psycho. God, I hate that phrase. I really hate that phrase. No, that's not it at all. This is just, my wife is dealing with some hormonal changes. And if you've had teenagers, especially, you get it. Hormones just drive you insane. And I'm not just talking about sex drive. I mean, literally anger, giddiness, sadness, just overwhelming emotions that you have no reason for them to hit you.
Yep.
And the same thing happens at any point in our life when we have a big hormonal change, you know. And I love that we're opening this up, because part of providing for our family and caring for our family includes understanding what they're going through or might go through. I think it's a perfect subject, really, for us.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Well, and you know, it just with the fact of like this, which I feel like is kind of like big news type of thing, like really getting that out there. Um, the other thing that's coming up, or that has happened in the news, which is really interesting, is that um, we had I would consider it to be a huge spotlight actually put on stay-at-home dads, the National At-Home Dad Network, just the whole like stigma of what a stay-at-home dad is perceived to be versus what they are now, and kind of how things are changing. The New York Times recently posted an article that happens to also feature one of our former guests and current board members, Gerard Guzman, and his journey into from being a tour manager for DMX and Salt and Pepper and Cat Power to, stepping away from that to take on the role of a primary caregiver for his family, and just how that all transpired. And then the author of the article talks about just sort of like how, like, the Pew Report shows like just uptick in stay-at-home dads. And I get a little annoyed by the fact that like there's always this sort of like asterisk to like, oh, part of it was due to the pandemic or something like that, because I'm like, yes, like the pandemic did play a part in it, but like there was already, like, things were already like upticking, like, people were already starting to have those conversations because of childcare. That's the real like, the pandemic was part of it, but the catalyst for it was childcare. Like, childcare is so freaking expensive, and that's what really drove it. The pandemic didn't do it. It was that. And that's the one thing that drives me nuts, because it gets whitewashed every single time in conversations, is that gets it gets pointed out, basically. So, but still, it's a great article. It's got some great just interviews for, like, there's like, I think 3 different dads that are pointed out in it. But I love the fact that like Gerard's like, boom, like right there at the front, you got the National At-Home Dad Network polo right there. And it's like, wow, like what a great spotlight for the whole thing.
and you're looking good, Gerard. You're looking good. I
Is.
just want to say that, especially walking out with your kids. I'm like, oh, because he brought that baby to Phoenix.
He did, yeah, that's right.
Remember, and I heard that baby in the back, and I'm like, oh, please let me hold that baby. But now that baby's walking around ready to go. And I'm like, yeah. And Gerard's got older kids too. So he understands. He's ready to handle it. But it's cool to see him with his kids. I love it.
Definitely.
I
So we'll
love
put
it.
a link we'll put a link in there so you can read that article. It's also on all of our socials as well. So that way people can get a chance to check it out. Also, if you're another way to get that information too is through signing up to get our monthly newsletter. That was the other thing I want to point out. And Joshua Burnson has done an amazing job with that and recently made some changes into how the newsletter looks. And he's using a different program now. And I really like it because instead of scrolling through like a whole bunch of stuff, it's like actually just like sliding it across like pages and they're all clickable to get to things. And I really appreciate that side of things because it's just like, oh, like I don't feel like I'm just like scrolling through this massive web page or whatever. It's got just a bit more functionality.
I have to say, Canva is the program that he's using.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That is the program I've always wished existed. It is so intuitive. It's so, and I want to say we're not making any money off of this. They're not supporting us at all. This is just my opinion. Nobody is. We're not making money off anybody. Let's just make that official. But yeah, Canva is such an intuitive program. It made it so easy. Like, or I did my slides for a presentation, and it was cake. I was like, yeah, I can do this. Wow, I didn't think I could do this. This is simple.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Well, and two, also, I guess like because I'm going to tag Canva in this, but I just want to thank Canva for being a very big supporter for nonprofits because like we all are on shoestring budgets and whatnot. And so the fact that Canva helps nonprofits to get a pro account and be able to do things that, make it easier to promote and really just look that much more professional in your promotions is awesome. And so that's the other thing. That website has just kind of revolutionized making graphics for people who never went to any kind of graphic. Like I don't have a degree or any kind of classes that I took in college on building graphics for things like that, but I can jump on there and just get creative and do different things and try to pretend to be JHG.
Right.
Or
and it is
or Patrick Wilbram.
And I've looked at stuff that other people have done, and I've said this on our board Slack, in fact. So we put up, advertisement for someone else or that, their marketing thing. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, that's some great information, but they need JHG. It's their graphics and images. It's just all, it looks like it was done by someone who doesn't have a lot of experience. And it's fine. I mean, you build it as best you can. Generally it's from people that, like you and I, who don't have that experience. Canva just fixes it. Like, here you go. Yeah. You're welcome. You can do anything you want now. So
I got all the information on the graphic.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, a kid got all the paint on the canvas. That doesn't mean that it's
Bingo.
Picasso.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So one other thing I wanted to talk about today, and going back to both community and health, is that one of our board members, Matt Strain, has become a peer support specialist. That's the word. And he started a sobriety support group every Monday. It'll be Monday, I think 9 p.m. Just a Zoom call to get together and talk with people about sobriety, about how they're progressing in their journey through sobriety. And also that he made mention that it's not simply an abstinence group.
Right.
This is a place where you can talk about it realistically. Like, yeah, I haven't been able to abstain, but I've cut it down to 1 drink a week or something like that. I've moved it to this point or that point. And I will say that Matt's going to be much more educated about this and experienced about this than I could ever be.
Yeah, he's coming up on year 10 of sobriety, which is amazing.
Yeah, 10 years sober and 20 years drug-free.
Yeah.
And if you know anybody, he was a chef, of course. I think most of us know that. And that job lends itself to people that abuse alcohol and abuse drugs. It's just, you're working madly and you do it for so long. Yeah, okay. Hey, you want something to calm down? Yeah. And it's going to be a drink, and And it's just so easy to roll into that because it's such a big part, or was a big part of the culture. And I love to see that Matt has not only done that, has taken those steps and has maintained that
Yeah.
through so much. And he's actually become a ambassador for Athletics Brewing,
Yeah.
which is a non-alcoholic beer. But also the fact that he's moved past that to become a support specialist. He's gone through some training to get it to where he can help other people maintain their momentum towards sobriety.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. And honestly, like, you're talking about like, he's a former chef and just like all of the, stress that comes with that. And honestly, like it translates into the stress that, an at-home parent feels. And, maybe that's their outlet. That's the way that they're kind of like dealing with things, and being able to have a supportive group to be able to talk to be able to just voice like, this is what's going on. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to lessen things or
Right.
completely like get out of it. And, that's a hard to find people to talk to about that are not going to be judgmental right off the bat and just listen and provide, some guidance or, whatever that looks like. Um, that's a tough thing to find a lot of times. And I love the fact that it's something that's virtual. So you could be anywhere, you could be out vacationing with your family, and like, it's not like, oh, I got to go find like an AA group and, jump into this like group of people that I have absolutely like zero rapport with. But you can actually jump into a Zoom call and be around people that you've built a relationship up with, who understand your situation. You don't have to like divulge everything because you've already talked about it. And be able to just kind of pick up where you left off from the last time you were in there, and had that
Right.
conversation. And that's a huge, to me, like that's amazing. I mean, because like, I know there are times where like, when I was before you started the mental health call-ins too, like there were times where when I went out traveling where it's like, man, like I wish I could just like have something, have this to be able to jump into. I mean, I know I have guys that I can call and talk to
Right.
one-on-one, but sometimes it's nice to just be in a group setting too. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for what Matt is getting ready to start, and I'm really excited for the, just the resource that it brings to our
Mm-hmm.
guys.
And the dad lounge, the mental health support group, and now the sobriety group, these are all places where we find community, where
Yeah.
we find friends. And that is so difficult to find in our life, because you
Yep.
can, like, the support group is not about like things like I deal with. We don't talk about, my trauma or PTSD or stuff like that really very often. We talk about, how are things affecting you today? How are the kids affecting you today? How is your partner affecting you today? Right. And I can't talk as much to the dad lounge because I'm not in there as often, but it's a place where you can go and say, yeah, I have a great day today, and I want to tell somebody about it. And you have other dads that, again, will respond positively. Or, my day was not that great, and I'm dealing with my kid trying to potty training is a big one. Potty training is always a fight for, it seems like, for most
Yeah.
people. Or sleeping. My kids won't sleep. And you can go and talk to someone who may offer you some advice, right? That's part of it, but also may just be able to look you in the eye and go, man, I know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And that's awful. It sucks.
Yeah. No,
And
the dad lounge is definitely that place where you can go and just be like, even when there's other conversations going on, I've multiple times heard guys be like, can I just share like the shit that's going on in my life? And
right.
I've never once, when being in there, ever heard anybody say, no, no, man, we don't want to hear it. Like, everybody's like, yeah, dude, like,
Right.
share, let us know what's going
Drop it.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really love that we're building those communities. And sobriety is an area that I don't have really any understanding of.
Yeah.
My father was an addict, and I pretty much, I assume anything I take, I'm going to become addicted to. So I don't take anything unless I have to. So, I mean, even for me, I wouldn't have a drink because I just have that idea of what drinks might do to me. Right. But if there was any concern that I had, even where I'm at. And I just want to say, you know, my dad was an addict and I'm worried about it. I can go to the sobriety group and get
Yeah.
support for that. You know, not that I'm dealing with it and not that I'm, you know, I am pretty much sober, but just because I've never developed that habit. But I could go there and say, hey, this is what I deal with. And I'm just wondering, you know, is it something I need to worry about? Is there something, you know, that I should do differently? And it could be they would just go, well, we have no idea, dude, but you sound like you're on the right track. Or, you know, did you recognize that this is a problem? Which is so valuable,
Yeah.
understanding what we're dealing with. And when it comes to things like alcohol and drugs, even if it's legal drugs, you run the risk of not realizing how much you're leaning on it. And I will say, I never understood drinking in my life. But once I had kids, it wasn't for partying. I never partied. I never, you know, drank at parties and got drunk or anything like that. I've got drunk very, very rarely in my life. But when I had kids and they just, I'm like, God, yeah, I can't drink beer, but I would drink a beer right now just to take the edge off of it.
Yeah.
It's so exasperating and irritating in its way. I love these guys, but oh my God, they're just driving me crazy. And that just take the edge off can easily become something more, you know, or you're
Definitely.
taking the edge off every day. I mean, as an example with THC, it's legal here. We have the synthetic, but it's legal, and I could take it every single day. I could at the end of my day's over, I'm going to get high. I don't because I have too many things going on, and I don't want to get reliant or dependent on it, right? But the stress of this job or the stress of life pushes you to a point where you do want something,
Yeah.
and that's a, you know, a place where you can go to a sobriety group like ours, and I think Matt would support you 100% and say, yeah, we've all been there. How
Yeah,
much are you
definitely.
doing it? Are you in any danger? Is it something that's an issue?
What
And
what what do you see as being a goal of something that you'd like to change in it? You
that's
know?
great. Yeah, that's great. That's a
Yeah.
great question.
For me, like when you were talking about, just kind of the things that you gone through, like I know that coming up through college and just trying to figure out adult life, I got into drinking and was like, I drink and just drink and drink and drink until like basically I got sick. It was like,
Yeah,
and
college.
and it was just, that was like, oh, this is what you do or whatever. And then I had a buddy one time like sit me down and he was like, what are you trying to accomplish out of this? And we just had this conversation and I was like, I don't know, honestly, like just doing it to be doing it. I mean, sometimes I find things I like, sometimes I don't or whatever. And he was like, he's like, there's a thing called like social drinking. And I was like, what's that? And like he like walked me through what it was. And it's like, all right, like, so I can just go out and have like a drink or two and just hang out and like really just enjoy that. Because I get people all the time like, man, like you're taking forever to like drink this beer. And I'm like, so like
Yeah,
I'm not here to slam it back. Like
it's
I
not a
just,
race.
no, it's not. And so, that's been the biggest thing for me. But I mean, at the same time too, like I'm just as been caught up in where things, life sometimes takes a turn, like you get bad news or whatever. And I've definitely like had a few too many. And it's like, that's one of those things where it's, it basically is detrimental on me in the fashion of like I just find myself like wrapped around the toilet for an evening type of
Mhm.
deal. But at the same time too, my wife is like, what are you doing? And so, but it's she's understood with a sense of grace, but also with a please don't do that again. Like it's not good for any of us, type of
Mhm.
thing. But it's just one of those deals where they're just, it's like you get to points in your life where it's like, okay, like where do I want to be in this, and what do I want to change? Like, oh, I've actually like pinpointed like this is an issue, like this is something that I want to change. How do I do that? I don't know how to do that. Well, here's a group that you can actually go to and be like, I want to do this, I don't see how to get there. Has anybody ever dealt with this, or what kind of things could you maybe point me in the right direction for? And that's huge because
Yeah.
like we've said, like there's a lot of times where I think some people just get isolated and into a situation where they're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do this. And so I really am just excited and over the moon for Matt stepping forward and doing this to give back to the community. And I know that he said that, he's gone through some things to get to a place where he could feel like he could actually do this. And that's the other side of it too. Like when you've gone through everything and then you're like, all right, how do I give back? Like trying to figure out how does that work in the grand scheme of everything else going on. And then also too, to just be courageous enough to actually like go for it. It sometimes can take a lot. And like you and Matt, and just, guys that are just stepping into those roles, are what just continue to bond this community further together. And then you see that in person when you go to the convention, get all the guys together and stuff like that. So that makes it even more fun.
Yep. So,
but yeah. Well, I'll tell you, this is, man, lots of stuff going on. It's been exciting.
Yeah. and I love it when we just have conversations.
Yeah.
I just like having a chance to talk to you. But like today, there's a lot of big things going on.
Right.
And the podcast realistically is so that our members specifically, but our greater audience can know what's going on with the organization. And we have to do, shows like this sometimes. I think it was great. I really do. I think it was appropriate, and it's all information. I mean, everything that we're coming up, get your membership, just do it, but everything that we have going on, we got to relay that. And even if it's not just us hanging out, I think it's beneficial.
I agree. Yeah. Cause it's nice to recap things. And then also too, like we're kind of like a mini newsreel,
right?
In a way,
right.
you get the weekly home dad chat newsreel,
right?
We'll have to come in with our news voices. Hello and welcome to the news.
Here's Brock with the weather.
That's usually where that's Hezekiah in the car all the time in the morning because he listens to the radio while he's getting ready. Do you know what the weather's going to be like today? No. And now for the weather with Hezekiah, our weatherman. He always gets embarrassed every time I do it to him too.
I love that though, because how very important that is.
Yeah,
for him to know how to do his day, and like, is he going to be able to go out to recess? You got to wear a jacket, a coat, snowsuit. What's going on to have that understanding? That's fantastic.
Yeah. He heard today, he was like, it's going to be a high of 64. What he forgot to hear was that it's 30 degrees outside this morning. So he throws on shorts. He threw on shorts. And I'm like, I walk into the kitchen and I'm like, why are you wearing shorts? And he was like, well, it's going to be warm today. I go, when is it going to be warm today? He's like, I don't know. The high is 64 today. And I'm like, yeah, at 3 o'clock to like 4 o'clock. That's it. Yeah.
30 degrees from now, buddy.
I'm like, when you come home from school, sure, change into shorts and go run around outside, have a ball.
Yeah. We've got a field trip today with my 14-year-old, and he gets up and he's like, I guess I got to wear pants today. They said we might have to sit on the ground, do some sledding or something. And I'm like, yeah, you goober. Because he always wears shorts. He rarely wears pants. He's just one of those kids that will walk around in a hoodie and shorts for the rest of his year. He's fine with it. I'm like, and then the littles come out and like, Dad, it's going to be in the 50s. I'm like, yeah. Like you said, what is it now? Oh, it's 24. Yeah. Let's dress for that and then layer down as the day goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my!
But if it gets up to 50, I don't have to wear my coat. What? Yeah, I don't have to wear my coat to recess. I can go out without my coat. And I'm like, wow, that must be a big thing for you. That's, I didn't recognize that was such a, I guess so. Why?
Slows me down out on the kickball field, man. Right? I got my coat,
like,
the drag from running. Oh, shoot.
So weird. So weird. But anyway, man. Yeah. Good call. Good conversation.
Definitely. All right. Well, today. This has been fun, and we'll talk to everybody next week. So you'll have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.